Hey, what's up? Yeah, pimple. I know, it's fucking huge. You know, I was like looking at it in the mirror, see if I can clean it up as best as possible. I can't, but just so we're clear, I notice it too. It's not something I just like didn't see. I'm like, well, let's get this video going. Nope, it's there. I see it. But megachurches, am I right? That's the intro. Now we're talking megachurches. That's how this thing goes. Now, for those who don't know about megachurches, I am the guy to tell you. But megachurches are exactly what they sound like, which is so funny. Just imagine if your Sunday Mass was held at like Madison Square Garden or was on the Las Vegas Strip. The name alone is just hilarious. It's like a first draft name calling them megachurches. I honestly don't know if there's a more accurate name for like anything. Leaf blowers? Maybe that's pretty accurate. That's what they do. Religion meets capitalism in an all-time coming together of two things that would just make a European person puke.
No, we'll just call it when it lands. Call it in the air. Tails! What I be kicking? Yeah, let's just go with tails. Would you like to kick or receive the Bible?
I will receive. Tom wins the toss, chooses to receive the Bible. Patterson back with the kick. Oh my goodness!
Doesn't this just seem like a place for spiritual enlightenment? Imagine some broken down guy. He's made like so many mistakes in his life. He's like finally coming back to the church. He's ready to atone. And he just like walks in and the pastor's like, no, would you like to kick or receive the Bible? To someone in a Pat Mahomes jersey. Sorry, sir, you can't actually talk to God. There's a lighting rig in the way. This girl also almost put that fucking Bible through this guy's head. Get her on a field yesterday. I didn't even mention the fact yet that they're running up and down the aisles to Panic at the Disco. I didn't know churches played like outside music. I thought it was pretty much all like originals in there. The production is also bananas. It's like a live television production. Like it looks like WrestleMania. It's just insane to think there's a director in the back somewhere like calling shots for a broadcast of this like sermon. Okay, now cut to camera 2. Yeah, I want the wide angle of her kicking the Bible. Want to get the whole thing. Some of these productions are just like insane. They did this one Christmas show at one I saw. Obviously, Christmas is a big deal at like any church. It's like the boss's kid's birthday. But here it's more like Cirque du Soleil meets the Bible. First of all, what are people putting in the collection plates at some of these churches? Like black tar heroin? Like how much money are they making? I mean, isn't the whole point of Christmas like not the material stuff? Isn't it sort of about like appreciating the people and the things that you already have in your life? Because Prestonwood Church couldn't disagree anymore. They're just kind of like, nope. It's about Santa flying around and it's about fireworks and people on wires. That's what it's always been. Imagine seeing this and being like, oh, I understand the meaning of Christmas now. This helped a lot. Do they even do a nativity scene in this one? It just seems like a music festival. They had like a whole fucking lineup of like different genres of music. There's like groups and individuals. Like it probably is like quite the achievement in your career to get on this list. If you're like a Christian musician, you're probably like, oh, I gotta get the Prestonwood gig. That's kind of like a big step. If they do a nativity scene, I would imagine your kid getting the role of baby Jesus is like having Jesus as a kid. People are probably lining up for pictures with the baby. You're probably eating for free. You probably go in the restaurant like, hey, it's the Jesus kid. This one's on us. And wire work is so oddly important to these churches. Like there's one pastor who's literally known as the flying pastor.
He's being called the flying pastor. Look at him go. Pastor Bartholomew Orr says his church in Mississippi has been using the flying equipment for several years for Christmas services.
We actually have a company that comes in, installs it, takes our people through a flight school just to make sure that everything is safe.
Yeah, I don't know much about being a pastor, but I'm like pretty sure you don't need to graduate flight school to be one.
Actually, I wasn't nervous. They kind of creeped me in, so it wasn't like I was zoomed in.
The pastor has been mocked by some who call him a Beyonce wannabe. The pastor says the proof is in the pews.
I think more young people left Sunday morning probably talking about my sermon than they did in a while.
Yeah, no shit, they were talking about it, but they weren't like, oh, this really resonated with me. They were like, holy fuck, this guy was on wires this morning for no reason. It was fucking insane. I'm swearing a lot. I'm kind of going off script, doing my own thing. I guess that's just my crutch. Sip my DC. But imagine trying to have a serious, resonant conversation with someone and you're just fucking like descending from the ceiling with your shoulders by your ears. Imagine getting advice from anybody in that situation. Hey, look at me, man. You're better off without her. All right? You're doing great for yourself. You got a great job. You're a handsome guy. Just don't be so down on yourself all the time. Yeah, I obviously appreciate that, man. I just can't fucking take you seriously when you're doing what you're doing. You get down, maybe. The flying pastor actually got to meet Steve Harvey, which is kind of funny because he just looks like a young Steve Harvey. Also, I didn't know Steve Harvey was doing anything other than Family Feud these days. When did he like host his own Ellen show? Where was I?
How did you come up with the idea to zip line into the church that day?
So the equipment was already there in church. And so I said, okay, I might have to fly in then. And it wasn't until like Saturday morning before the Sunday that I realized that, you know what, it fits the message. I'm talking about the coming of Christ. It fits the message. So I said, y'all, tomorrow I'm going to fly in.
That's when I thought, you know what, it fits the theme. I'm talking about Abraham. I'm going to make someone kill their son on stage. These mega churches are so funny, though, because they're just like the most obviously corrupt things, but they're so open about it. It's like they're kind of trying to hide it, but they really don't. Like they just talk about money in their sermons all the time. Like I said, I'm not a regular churchgoer, but I just wouldn't expect the pastor to be like, oh, you want to know how to live a more fulfilling life? Get your bread up. That's how. They're also hilarious because the pastors are fucking loaded. When I say loaded, I don't mean like, oh, they're well off considering they're pastors. I mean like these guys have their own airports and private jets and compounds. Osama bin Laden compounds. His was kind of a dump, but he's the only guy I know who like this thing was called a compound. But it's just mental because they're getting all these monies from donors to the church, but they don't just like outright say, hey, we're stealing your money, give it here. Like this guy Jesse Duplantis.
You know, I've owned 3 different jets in my life and used them and just burning them up for the Lord Jesus Christ.
Televangelist Jesse Duplantis says God himself told him it's time for an upgrade.
He said, I want you to believe me for a Falcon 7X. So I said, okay.
A Falcon 7 jet like this one to preach to more people around the world. And he's asking his followers for the $54 million.
I mean, that is such an awesome excuse. Imagine using that line. Hey, man, can you loan me like $20 million? No. Why? God said you should so I can like buy a golf course. I don't know. He wouldn't stop talking about it. Oh, really? You said that. Okay, well, don't want to get on his bad side, right? Do you take a check?
God told me to have that plane.
It's just so funny that these guys lie so obviously and just get away with it. It's kind of awesome. And this Duplantis guy acting like this request from God has just been like thrust upon him.
He said, I want you to believe me for a Falcon 7X. So I said, okay.
Fine, all right, Lord, all right. I'll take a 4th bigger private jet if I must.
I really believe that if Jesus was physically on the earth today, he wouldn't be riding a donkey.
No, he wouldn't be riding a donkey. He'd probably be riding a Falcon 7X jet. That'd be my guess.
From his Louisiana headquarters, Duplantis is among a group of televangelists who preach that their wealth is God's will.
This preys upon the poorest people that want and need money badly.
Ole Anthony? His name is Ole Anthony? That's an insane name. Oh, him? Well, that's Ole Anthony. Yep, Ole Anthony is one of them religious fraud investigators. You know the type. Like, I don't know. I get that when you're like in deep with something, it's hard to take a step back. But I just feel like if someone is openly asking for my money to buy a 4th private jet, implying they have 3, and I know he lives in a mansion, I just feel like I would take a step back and be like, wait a minute. I don't know if this guy's really trying to help me. Also, hey, their big excuse is that they need their planes to like fly around to all their different services that they do. They broadcast their services. Does that not mean that they can just do their services from one place and have a bunch of people see them? Like, is it that important to be in the same room as this guy? Doesn't that immediately negate the need for a private jet, let alone a 4th private jet? The crazy part, like I've said, is just how blunt they are about it. They're really not trying to hide how loaded they are at all.
You may think that house is too big. I don't care what you think.
You want to know how big it is? It's 40,000 square foot. The biggest house of any preacher in America. I'm saying that on television. You don't think they're going to nail me next week when I get home? I got an intercontinental plane.
Are you seeing this? I hope so. You bought it.
One of my chandeliers costs more than most people's house. I got 22 chandeliers in the house.
Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to like shit on people who go to these things, but I just can't get in the headspace of like hearing my preacher say that and being like, well, This guy has my best interests in mind. It's also so funny to me that these guys like generally just deny any interview that comes at them. I've seen 2 videos with this Jesse Duplantis guy having a reporter come after him, which is also funny. Like if your preacher has reporters like running after him to interview him, it's like, that's not normal. But he's been approached in the 2 videos for not paying property taxes and owning like fucking 17 private jets and trying to get his donors to pay for his new $54 million private jet. And he just shuts them both down.
Why do you need a $54 million private jet?
We're not doing any kind of interviews right now. I'm in the book.
I just like to know why you need keep your hands off me. Why are your people touching me like this?
So we caught up with him in this Georgia church parking lot.
We wanted to ask you if you're paying property taxes on your mansion in Louisiana.
Like, hey, I think they might have something to hide. Maybe people are starting to doubt the legitimacy of Father Duplantis' claim here about God wanting him to have a new private jet, because him and another preacher, Kenneth Copeland, did like a sit-down talk on TV about why they need their private jets.
Two have commiserated about how they can't fly or pray with commercial airline passengers.
This dope-filled world, right? And get in a long tube with a bunch of demons.
Right, that's exactly the
and it's deadly.
Let me tell you, this Jesse Duplantis guy is like a mega scummy sleazeball, but this Kenneth Copeland dude is just fucked.
You said that you don't like to fly commercial because you don't want to get into a tube with a bunch of demons. Do you really believe that human beings are demons?
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did. We wrestle not with flesh and blood.
Yeah, this guy is fucked. If a guy with a mug like that, which is just not fun to look at, I don't know if that's mean, this guy just scares the hell out of me. But if a guy like that was pointing at me like that, I would turn into a puddle.
I love Inside Edition. You got to get this now. Hey, you listening to me? My wife thinks Inside Edition is, oh yeah.
Wow, she must be a real lucky lady.
Oh yeah.
This guy is so stupid loaded though.
Zone Airport next to his lovely mansion in Newark, Texas. Copeland actually has 2 private jets, a $20 million Citation 10 and a Gulfstream 5 jet that he recently bought from movie director Tyler Perry.
Really, what is that all worth though when you're just a nightmare to look at? Like, honestly. I mean, he is the scariest looking person on the planet. You expect me to believe God is talking to this guy? He's one of the select few good ones? Not buying it. God's probably afraid to make eye contact with him like I would be. But anyways, this Inside Edition reporter is just grilling him about being like stupidly rich. I personally like the part where the reporter says that both of her grandfathers were preachers and they're offended by what this guy does, and his answer.
What would your response be to people that think that preachers shouldn't live this kind of a lifestyle? Folks like both my grandfathers.
And I understand that. And I love them with all my heart. It's your grandfathers that we're standing on their shoulders. They held up and they stood for it. Glory to God. But when you go back to the Bible, it's full of wealth.
Look, I respect what your grandfathers did. I wouldn't be here without them, but the Bible, you know, what can you do? It's what it says. It's just staggering the amount of money that goes into these places and all the crazy shit they do. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not like I'm just learning, like, the Catholic Church has money? What? But, like, the electric bill must be higher than my salary. And I just don't see how that helps spread the word of God. I'm probably not my place to speak about it at all because I don't have any experience with it, but I just think about, and a lot of people think about just where that money could be allocated if you're actually trying to help people. Like a $54 million upgraded private jet from your current one doesn't seem the most necessary, but you're riding a lot. You got to be comfy. You know what? Fuck it. I'm actually on his side. I would have donated. I think I'm a little too late. I wonder if he got it, actually. I'm going to look that up. Yes, it appears Jesse Duplantis did eventually receive the private jet he asked his followers to help him fund. He also clarified he was not asking for donations to buy the plane, but to pray for the purchase. What a waste of a video. This guy was just praying for the purchase. He's fine. He's a good guy. Well, good for him for getting his jet, you know? Fucking thumbs up for Jesse. It's not easy to put yourself out there. It's not easy to ask for help, you know? You have to put your pride aside. That's a sin. He's putting that to the side. Good dude. I really wanted to get to a megachurch for this video, but I live in rural Canada. Actually, I would love to go to Jesse Duplantis's, and I'd love to be on the other end of the earth than Kenneth Copeland at all times. I don't want that guy to be anywhere near me ever for the rest of my life. He's horrifying looking. I would rather walk by O.J. Simpson's house that night as he's walking in, be like, "Hey, O.J., what do you got all over you there?" I'd rather have that interaction and whatever comes of it than ever even see Kenneth Copeland. I don't know. I'm talking, he scares the shit out of me. But anyways, that's it for me for this one. Here's my plug.
Oh man, I'm pretty stressed. Oh yeah? Like how stressed? Like pretty stressed. All right, I'm gonna go. What? Where are you going? Yeah, no, I'm gonna go. I'm not sticking around for that. All right, dude, please. See ya. Yep.
I'm gonna hop on GoFundMe and just be like, hey, I'm want to buy Earth. If anyone can help, any donations, God said I should be the guy to have the deed. So just send your. I might do that. So stay tuned for that. Peace out.